training aids are powerful because they allow swimmers to move through the water in ways that they otherwise couldn't. And when we leverage those changes, we can dramatically accelerate skill development. Because swimmers perform most of their training with their face down and their head in the water, and because they need to breathe in order to live, snorkels are a powerful tool for helping swimmers change how they swim. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. Swimming is different from most sports in that swimmers can't just breathe whenever they want. And when they do breathe, it comes at a cost in terms of their skills. And for that reason, snorkels become extremely powerful because we can remove that constraint on breathing, and that allows swimmers to move through the water in completely different ways. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 different ways that we can use snorkels in order to help swimmers improve their skills. Let's check it out. The reality of swimming is that the head is in the water and swimmers have to breathe. And in terms of going fast and improving skills, that can create some challenges. First, the breath will disrupt the stroke. When swimmers have to lift the head or turn the head to breathe, alignment's going to be lost, timing is going to be disrupted to some degree. And in order to go fast, swimmers have to learn to minimize that disruption, and better swimmers are better able to breathe without disrupting the stroke. And that's a key skill that swimmers need to learn. On the other hand, sprinters typically don't breathe in butterfly and freestyle, but that can be difficult to replicate in training because swimmers need oxygen. And unless they're taking really extended breaks or swimming almost exclusively over very short distances, it can be tough to get in a lot of work, a lot of practice on their skills if they're breathing all the time. And the reality is the stroke is not the same when swimmers are breathing in freestyle and butterfly as compared to when they are not breathing. And just like with every other skill, it has to be practiced, and so a non-breathing stroke needs to be practiced if it's going to improve, but that can be challenging because of the need for air. Finally, whenever swimmers are learning new skills, it's helpful to get a lot of concentrated practice. But if they always have to disrupt their position, they always have to stop the drill to breathe, that can create problems as well because they never really get into the flow of figuring things out. They never get that concentrated practice that can be really useful for helping swimmers improve. While these challenges are part of swimming, that doesn't mean there aren't solutions. Fortunately, in all 3 cases, we can use snorkels to help swimmers go faster and improve their skills. First, for improving the breath, we can have swimmers alternate between breathing and non-breathing swims. So they swim with the snorkel on, they're not breathing. That allows them to feel what it's like to move straight through the water without the stroke disrupting their rhythm or their position. And then they take the snorkel off and they try to replicate those same sensations. And so you alternate between those two. Swimming with the snorkel allows them to feel what a good breath feels like, in that there's no disruption of the stroke or the disruption of what's happening. And then they get to transition that awareness, that sensation, into their actual swimming when they take the snorkel off. By going back and forth between the two and trying to bridge the gap, make the two as similar as possible, that allows swimmers to take what they're feeling and then try to make it happen when they swim. And that's how they can learn to improve their breath, by feeling what it's like to breathe really well and then trying to replicate that when they're actually breathing. When it comes to sprinting, it allows swimmers to get a lot more practice in specific positions. So now, because they don't have to hold their breath, they can stay with the head down for a lot longer. They can use longer distances. They can use shorter rest periods. And that means they can get more practice without being limited by the need to breathe. Or they're not going to be distracted because they feel like they're running out of air all the time. So more skill development because they're in the right positions. And when you're working on skills and you're not worried about the breath, you sometimes want to eliminate breathing from the equation. And so if they're struggling to learn a skill because the breath is interfering with it, you take the breath out of the equation, you just have them do the drills or whatever strategy you're working on without breathing because they've got the snorkel on, and then you can improve that skill. And then once they improve that skill, then you can worry about making it happen when they actually breathe. But you got to get it changed in the first place. And when you want to focus on something, you don't want to worry about the breath. The snorkel is a very, very effective tool because it eliminates the breath. They don't have to worry about it. They can just keep their head down and in line, and they can just get to work on whatever you're focused on. So what are some of the details about using this approach? Well, when it comes to better breathing, you can use it in any training context. You can use it for sprinting, you can use it for race work, you can use it for endurance work. It doesn't matter. If you're trying to improve the breath in that context, a snorkel works great. You can also use it with different training aids. You can also use it with different training aids, resistance, or hand postures to further challenge the breath. Can they make it happen? Can they feel the difference when they're adding these extra elements to whatever you're doing? And regardless of the situation, the goal is to make the breath feel the same when they're breathing and when they're not breathing. Whether they have the snorkel on or not, the stroke should feel the same. So what are the details here? Well, when it comes to better breathing, you can use this strategy in any context. Whether it's sprint work, race work, or endurance work, have them alternate between wearing a snorkel and not wearing a snorkel and try to minimize the difference between the two. The goal being is that the breath should not disrupt the stroke in any way. And you can increase the challenge by using different training aids, using resistance, using different hand postures, and that's going to further challenge the ability to breathe well regardless of the context. And in each case, the goal is to make the stroke feel the same in every single situation. Regardless of whether it is, whether they have the snorkel on, whether they don't, their goal is to try to make sure that they're swimming well. The breath should not disrupt the timing. The breath should not disrupt the alignment. It shouldn't disrupt anything. The closer swimmers can get to that, the more effective they're being with their breath. When it comes to improving the sprints, you can use this strategy with any sprint-focused training. You can literally even keep the head down the entire workout. So if it's a sprint butterfly workout or a sprint freestyle workout, they can wear the snorkel, they can do that the whole time, and they'll be working in more specific positions the whole time. So it's a simple way to get more practice doing what they need to do. You can do it during drilling, resisted swimming, overspeed, repetition work, kicking, it doesn't matter. You're just focusing on that same body position, those same skills throughout the entire time. And by having the snorkel on, you can get a whole lot more work done in specific situations without them having to worry about holding their breath the entire time. And finally, when it comes to improving skills, if there's any situation where you don't want them to breathe, throw a snorkel on. Regardless of what they're doing, if you don't want them worrying about breathing, just put the snorkel on and you can eliminate that problem. And that's a very powerful way to use training aids, in this case the snorkel, to create change and allow for better skill development because they're no longer going to be distracted unnecessarily by the breath, which actually is holding them back rather than helping them. So by using a snorkel, you can help them accelerate their skills in that way as well. So here's a simple set in breaststroke helping swimmers learn how to breathe more effectively. And so for swimmers that are coming up way too high, they're coming up vertically, this strategy can be really effective for helping them understand how to breathe more effectively. So they're going to go 250s breaststroke. It's going to be 25 with a flutter kick so they can work on staying flatter, and then a 25 breaststroke with breaststroke kick on the way back. The first one's with a snorkel, so they can feel how they're just sliding through the water. And then the second one is without a snorkel, and they're trying to recreate that same low forward feeling. Then the second one is done the same way, except the first 25s with a dolphin kick instead of a flutter kick. And again, the snorkel's there on the first one so that they can feel what it's like to slide right through. And then they're going to try to replicate that to some extent on the second 50. Now on round 1 and 4, they're just trying to get really long, as few strokes as possible. Rounds 2 and 5, they're going to build each 25 to strong to add a little bit speed. And then in rounds 3 and 6, they're going to go strong effort so that they can see if they can execute those skills with a little bit of gas. And so by using the snorkel here, we can change the breaststroker's awareness of what their breathing is doing and their perception of what their breath is doing. And that provides them with the opportunity to help improve their skills. This is a butterfly sprint set. They're going 2 rounds through. It's not all done super fast, but the focus is working on butterfly positions and that flatter, more sprint-based stroke. So they're going to go 825s with a snorkel. They're going to descend in pairs from strong to very strong. The odds are streamlined dolphin kick and the evens are swim. The evens are swim with fins, hit 100 speed, and try to be really level, really flat in the water. Then they're going to go 225s butterfly with the snorkel, build to fast, and they're going to start strong. The odds are streamlined dolphin kick, and the evens are swim. And again, the streamlined dolphin kick is helping them feel what it's like to be really level, really flat in the water, and then they're trying to replicate that when they swim, and the snorkel adds to that effect because they don't have to come up to breathe. Then they're going to 25 butterfly fast to finish off this section. The second section is done the same way, but instead of the odds being streamlined dolphin kick, now they're going to go butterfly with flutter kick. So they're going to descend those 8, they're going to go 100 speed on the 4, they're going to go build a fast starting strong on the 2. And then they're going to finish off with a 25 butterfly fast. And so just like the streamlined dolphin kick, butterfly with flutter kick is going to help keep them really level, really flat. And the snorkel is going to, again, add to that effect by not having them breathe. And so this is a way to use the snorkel to make the set more effective. Not only do they not have to worry about breathing, they can really focus on maintaining a more effective position in butterfly, a flatter stroke. That's going to allow them to create a little bit more speed for a more sprint-based stroke. This set's a little bit more of an endurance set, and it's focused on helping swimmers improve their freestyle timing. So they're going to go 475s, 25 underwater recovery, 50 over-under freestyle, help work on their rotational timing, and they're going to do that with a snorkel so they don't have to worry about the breath impacting their rotational timing. They can just work on locking it in, executing those drills without having to worry about the breath. And they're going to descend that first section 1 to 4 to solid. Then they're going to go 450s freestyle, 25 minimized stroke count, plus 25 build to strong. And they're going to go odds with a snorkel, evens without a snorkel. So now they're going to see if they can try to apply what they're learning by adding the breath in. But mainly the focus is on improving the rotational timing, and we're not that worried about the breath, so we're using the snorkel to start with. Second round through, it's the same setup, except on the 75s, there's going to be a floating 25 strong, and the fourth one is going to be all strong. And then on those 50s, it's 25 build plus 25 strong. Same thing with the snorkel, those 75s, just focusing on the rotation timing. And then on the 50s, we'll go with the snorkel, see if they can do it when they swim, and then try to make it happen when they're swimming while breathing. Last section through, they're going to go odd, solid, even strong on those 75s, still with the snorkel, and then they're going to go 450s. Odds again with the snorkel, evens without the snorkel. The first two are solid, the second two are strong. So in this set, we're focused more on the skill of the rotation timing. We're not that worried with the breathing because that can mess up the rotation timing a little bit. We'll work on that skill later, but for now, we're focusing on the rotation. And by using the snorkel, we can eliminate the breathing as a consideration, and we can add that back in whenever we're ready. If you want to learn more about one of my favorite training aids for developing skills, check out the video below.